Am I the asshole for not covering my scars despite knowing how they affect my stepsister? So I, 17M, have a large burn scar on my arm and shoulder. It covers my whole upper arm and shoulder and some of my lower arm. It was from an accident a few years ago. The past few days have been really hot where I live, so I've either been wearing short sleeves or I've been rolling up my sleeves. And today my stepsister, 20F, came to visit our dad. I walked into the kitchen wearing shorts and a hoodie with the sleeves rolled up. When my sister was younger and she was living with her mom, the house next to hers caught on fire. The houses were attached, and their house also caught on fire, but they got out and were fine. But still, it was a very traumatic experience for her. She can't go near fire or she'll freak out, understandably so. She saw my scars and told me to roll my sleeves down. I told her no. She told me that I know about her history with fire and that I should be more considerate. I told her that she should be more considerate considering it's my fucking body. She called me a dick for using the whole, my body, my rules thing, and that she just asked me to roll my sleeves down. I grabbed a drink from the fridge and went back upstairs. Thinking back on it, I kinda feel like tar. I know how fire and fire-related things affect her, and rolling my sleeves down wouldn't have been that hard. So am I the asshole? Edit. I've had a few people come into my DMs asking about my accident. I know you guys mean well and just want all the info, but it is something that is really hard for me to talk about. So I would appreciate it if you could not ask me those kind of questions. Edit 2. I know I said I wouldn't, and technically I'm giving them what they want, but the DMs I've been getting it too much, and the questions I'm being asked are too invasive, and I just want them to stop. Also, my post is over a day old, so not many people will see this. Basically what happened, my dad had some friends over and they were smoking in the shed, with the door open, because he has a no smoking rule in the house. After they went inside, I went to grab something from the shed. I accidentally knocked over a set of drawers and one of the cigarettes wasn't full out and landed in a bag of hay. I had rabbits at the time. The drawers I knocked over had landed in front of the door and closed it, keeping it shut. I couldn't move them. You can probably imagine the rest. My dad ended up having taken axe to the door. This may sound odd, but the fire wasn't the traumatizing part for me, it was the being trapped. That's why I don't mind showing my scars. It still took me a while after they healed, but struggled talking about it. I got some pretty invasive and accusatory DMs about this point. I'm fine around fire, but I now have really bad claustrophobia and can't stand being locked in any kind of room. I don't mind people talking about this in the comments, but please keep it respectful and please don't DM me about it. Not the asshole. You are completely correct, your body, your rules. She's asking you to be uncomfortable for the sake of her comfort, which is not okay. Not the asshole, she's traumatized over a near miss, but has no consideration for someone who wasn't that fortunate. Time for Miss Thing to grow up. Not the asshole. It's your damn body. You have also been scarred, literally, by fire. You should not be made to feel ashamed of it. Not the asshole. I hope she is going to therapy and getting help. Your family shouldn't rely on you covering up to make her feel better. Not the asshole, she's the asshole. You've been actually scared by the thing she's now afraid of. She should bond over it with you. Instead there's some weird ass power struggle she's playing. Tell her to back the fuck up. If your mother, father intervene, stand by your guns, no pun intended. Not the asshole. I have very noticeable scars on my face, and if someone ever asked me to cover them because it gave them trauma, I'd laugh in their face and tell them to F off. Your trauma from actually being burned trumps her trauma from coming through a fire unscathed. She deserves no consideration for her ridiculous request. The scars are a part of you. Not the asshole. I understand her discomfort, but she can't expect her trauma to rule how everyone else lives. Not the asshole. Sure, she had a traumatic experience, but you actually got burned. She shouldn't make you feel bad for not covering him up. Would she ask a stranger to cover up their burns? Face with rolling eyes. Not the asshole. It's your body and it should not be dictated by anyone else regardless of their trauma. Your body parts, scarred or not, should not be a point of shame, nor should you have to cover them for someone else's convenience. Your sister has every right not to look at your scars, to turn around and protect herself from what she fears. Or even maybe get some therapy to get over this fear. But she does not have the right to demand that you cover yourself or otherwise disposition yourself. Especially in hot weather. What does she expect you to do? Die of heat stroke because it'd be more comfortable for her? Not the asshole. She's old enough to know better than to dictate people's bodies for things they can't control. Don't feel bad for being comfortable in your own home, because I think she's being unreasonable. Not the asshole. While it sucks that she has a bad past with fire, and it's entirely understandable that she would have fire as a trigger, she can't ask people to hide their scars or their body, especially when it's in a prominent place where it naturally shows when someone's dressing reasonably for warm weather. If she can't even see burn scars, not even recent injuries, but scars, then she really desperately needs to go into therapy to work through those triggers to minimize them. Especially since you can get burns in a multitude of ways other than through getting burned by fire. Yes, rolling down your sleeves wouldn't have been hard, but it's hot, and it's not like you were forcing her to look at you. You're allowed to dress comfortably, particularly in your own house. I can understand she had a traumatic experience. But you literally have burn scars on your body and all she thinks is about herself. As if you made those burn scars on yourself on purpose to mess with her. God sake. Wait, so she almost got burned and is traumatized for it and you need to cover yourself, whereas you actually got burned and suffered through trauma and pain. So you, having suffered the real pain, have to take on additional discomfort for her. Yeah, no, not the asshole. If she doesn't want to see them, rolling her eyes away is easier than you rolling your sleeves. Not the asshole. Your accident must have been traumatic for you as well and you even got a scar. I think it's very rude from her to ask you to hide it because of her traumatic experience. I know a trauma is something serious, but she acts like her problem is more worth than yours. I'm sorry, her history with fire. Excuse me, her trauma is valid and deserves compassion. But if it means she can't be around people who were actually hurt in a fire, it's her who needs to fix that, not an actual burn victim. She needs to learn to handle it better. It's rotten luck that you have both encountered fires. Good for you for being confident, and don't let her turn this into you versus her. She obviously still has tremendous fear associated with fire, understandably so, but she needs to get some perspective. Your confident attitude to your scars should give her some comfort and encouragement. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She doesn't get a say in what you do with your body. She called you a dick for using the "my body, my rules," because she knows it's true and there's nothing she can do about it. NTA. You should not have to hide your body in your own house. If she can't even see burn scars, then she should be in therapy. She should be proud of you for not hiding your scars, not shaming you for them. Not the asshole. You have no obligation to accommodate to her demands. She should be in therapy to address the issue. Her trauma is her problem. Is she going to freak on everyone lighting a cigarette? Or seeing a gas stove? She needs help. You did nothing wrong. Great that you're not self-conscious about your body. Embrace it. Not the asshole. She knows you were actually burnt, she didn't have to look at it. She knows your situation, so she has her trigger warning. You can, if you choose, to cover it in the future when she comes over. How does she handle public life? Telling complete strangers to cover up isn't going to get her far, and they are not going to have much empathy for her. Not the asshole. She sounds like a real suckhole. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Therapy for her. You obviously have the same trauma, with the exception you actually came out the other side with scars. My aunt had second and third degree burns over 80% of her body. She told me once when I asked if she was embarrassed when people stared or pointed, her response was that it is their problem that they have a problem and that she will not take on that burden. They have to find their own ways to cope, but she refuses to be ashamed to be a survivor. She needs to learn to move on and not impose her trauma on others. NTA, and I'm not trying to invalidate her feelings, but she escaped her fire unscathed. You got burned from a fire or other causes, but the point of the matter is she asked you to cover your scars from when you were burned because she has trauma. Like, imagine how you felt about that experience. I'm sorry for her pain, but she needs to seek help, and yes, it is your body, you can do whatever you want. She can ask, but that doesn't mean you have to comply. Not the asshole, and this is honestly so offensive to you. She's asking you to hide your body because of a scar. I'm not sure what your journey is with it, but I can imagine that would be triggering. If she continues to ask, ignore her. Full on. Or ask her if she could cover up or wear baggy clothes, because that's the same right. She's doing the same thing to you. However you handle it, make it clear it's not up for discussion. And if she's that triggered, she needs to go back to therapy. Not the asshole. No way, no how. I don't buy the idea that someone getting upset about someone else means that someone else needs to change things. You're upset by her and she doesn't have to change. She just has to deal with her issues. They're not your issues. You do you, and if you're comfortable letting them be seen, more power to you. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Does she not understand that as traumatizing as it is to witness and escape a house fire, that it might be more traumatic to experience it being burned in a fire? Not the asshole. What happened to her is traumatic, but she can't use that as an excuse for things. Maybe she needs to get help if seeing your scars traumatizes her so fricking much you can't even wear short sleeves around her. She sounds like an entitled brat. I hope you are okay. Not the asshole. It's your body, she can deal. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She can be uncomfortable from a traumatic experience, sure, but that doesn't mean she gets to dictate the actions of everyone around her because of it. There's nothing healthy about that kind of controlling behavior, especially when it comes to dictating how others want to present themselves. She should seek help if it's that bad. Not the asshole. Just to be clear, you said she told you to roll your sleeves down. This wasn't a request, it was an order. She's tar. You are 100% correct. It is your body and it is your choice whether or not you show your scars. The fact that she felt as though her trauma somehow outweighs yours is quite telling about her. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. People have scars. If she does not want to see scars, she should look elsewhere or just close her eyes. Not the asshole. She wanted you to hide your disability, scarring, because it offends her. Tough. My partner has burn scars over most of his back, arms and hands. It's part of who he is. Not the asshole. Stepsister needs therapy badly. It's not healthy for her to live in so much fear. What happens when she can't control the situation and she's around fire or people with scars? Some things are reasonable to ask in a situation like this, but this is not, in my opinion. It's your body and you have every right to wear whatever you feel comfortable in and walk around with your scars out in your own home. Not the asshole. Clearly she had a traumatizing experience, which I am hoping she is getting therapy for, but that doesn't trump that it's your body, so your choice to do with it what you will. I'm not exactly sure how she can be mad that you decide what to do with your body. Not the asshole. It's your body. You've also been through a traumatic event and shouldn't have to pretend you haven't just because she had a house fire. Not to completely disregard her trauma, but it's a lot to expect everyone else to alter their appearance to appease one's issues. Not the asshole. She needs to get help to get over her trauma and not expect the rest of the world to hide themselves for her comfort. She needs therapy. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You're the dick for using the "my body, my rules" thing to not get therapy, which you need. Not the asshole. Her feelings have zero bearing on how you dress to feel comfortable. If anything, she should be empathetic. If she tries that again, call her out for being insensitive to burn victims because you had no control over what happened to you. Not the asshole. It's your body, she doesn't have a say. Also, she is allowing this fear to have too much control over her. Letting everything fire-related become triggering is bad for her overall mental health. She needs better coping mechanisms. Not the asshole. My body, my choice applies to you too, stepsister. You have the choice to close your eyes or to use your legs to walk away from where I am. Not the asshole. Her history with fire. What about yours? Or, whatever burnt you? I understand she may be traumatized, but she also needs to recognize trauma in others, and not demand you be uncomfortably hot, which could lead to phrases such as, "I'm burning up," to make her comfortable. She can move to another room, you can't move the heat. Not the asshole. She is an adult and can go see a therapist if looking at you triggers her that much. Not the asshole. The world is full of triggers for our trauma. It's our job as an individual to learn how to navigate that. It's also absurd that her near miss with tragedy is triggered by your actual run-in with misfortune. Not the asshole. It's not your responsibility to manage your step-sister's issues with scars. She needs to work with a therapist to find a way to cope with her issues that don't involve controlling the behavior of others. NTA, if she's still traumatized, then maybe she needs to go to therapy. You were actually burned by fire, she wasn't. You have every right to feel comfortable in our own house and wear whatever you are comfortable in. If she has issues, she can go work through her issues in therapy. Your body, your say. Not the asshole. Your sister is a huge asshole for telling you need to basically be ashamed of your scars and hide them away for her own personal comfort. That is insanely selfish.